Frosty, good morning, and welcome to the E30. This is my 89 325 IS, and it is my winter daily at the moment, and it is great, except for one fairly prominent issue. Okay, maybe two. There we go. For the most part, this car has been a joy to drive. It's fun, it's tossable, it's interesting. I recently put a blower motor in it so the heater actually works, which is fairly important in the winter. But the transmission, since before I got it, has been fairly unhappy. The fourth gear synchro does not like to play ball half the time, and pretty much every bearing in it screams for mercy. There was the fourth gear. As cool as the straight cut gear sound is, really leaning into my Need for Speed Most Wanted love, it's pretty ear piercing on the highway, and it sucks because everything about this car actually makes for, I mean, I could road trip this almost anywhere, I feel like. So today I have a replacement transmission in the trunk that I picked up locally for what I feel like was a steal. These transmissions are getting very hard to find. And we're going to put it in. We're also going to rebuild the shifter, which is very floppy, which is very annoying. I'd like to track this car, and a floppy shifter means the potential of missing a gear and money shifting, which we do not want to do. Now, the reason I went with a stock transmission instead of upgrading to a ZF or a ZF 6-speed is because it's easier, and it was the first thing to show up on Facebook Marketplace. If someone was selling a 6-speed, I would have bought a 6-speed and bought the parts to put it in. But JetTrack showed up first, so here we are. It's exhaust removal time, because the exhaust has to come out, because the heat shield has to come out, because the drive shaft has to come out. Typical transmission things. Realized the cross member here was not really bolted to the car per se, and then my aftermarket headers are going to make this a bit of a challenge, because I really do not want to unbolt this point, because I had to like ratchet strap one of these to like over here and use it like a come along to line things up and bolt them out. But there's our greasy old boy that needs to come out. I've got some shifter rebuild parts that I'm going to throw in, because I'm not really sure what all's in here. It still has a lot of play, even though it's supposedly been rebuilt. So I just bought in everything, and I'll just throw whatever it needs at it to make it work. Yeah, I think the problem is that there's no washers there between the DSSR and the shifter. Probably that way on both sides. Looks like this was leaking pretty bad out of the output shaft seal. Well, not pretty bad, but it was leaking. Quebo's in good shape though, so that's nice. I'm not putting a new clutch or anything in this. We're just doing transmission out, transmission in as quickly as possible, because my back is killing me. It's stuck. I put it together well. Yeah. Well, then it's, just aluminized steel here. It's all rusted together. Uh-oh. Something fall in your eye? I couldn't imagine it would. Yeah. Surely. How are the ergonomics here? Spot on. I do like how wide this lift is. Yeah. Because it makes setting the... Like, this is my only spot for free. Oh man, the floor is soft on this car. It's fine. Also, we'll just unbolt this slave, hang it off to the side. That way we don't have to bleach it. Yeah, no, I don't want to open hydraulics if we can avoid it. There it is. There we go. Did you just call that Ugger McDuggerson? Yeah. I hate that. Not Phil Duggerson. Yeah.
I guess I didn't really need. Well, we're gonna have to take this out for you to.
Yeah, that all has to.
Yes,
Yeah,
anyway.
I have another one of these that's not Turner Motorsport.
I'm gonna need
Vice grips.
Is that even tight?
I couldn't get it with my hands,
Oh.
but that's a common situation.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why BMW does these sorts of shift linkages instead of just chassis mounting them. So here is the shift selector shaft on the new transmission. I already took out the old shift selector DSSR. I'm going to put this new end on. This one has a bearing in it, and it's billet aluminum for no adequately explainable reason. I don't understand why the rod doesn't just bolt onto this and instead has this intermediate. I don't know. This is a really weird design. I don't quite get it. This is a lot easier to do on the ground than it is in the car. This sucks to do in the car. You gotta bolt it to the DSSR and then have like a friend try to like shove the car into fourth gear while you're trying to put the pin in. It's not a great time. But it just goes on like that, and then a pin goes through the hole, and then the clip retains the pin, and away you go. That is to remove the balancer off the back of the new transmission, which is apparently not present in E30s. And then I've got about $400 worth of garbagistic stuff here. Delrin rear bushing, a custom DSSR made by a friend, and this thing is going to shift so nice. Oops, I haven't locked that in yet. Yeah, this is a bearing. This is a bearing. The only play that's left is just kind of the slop in the shifter inside the engine. We've got a new bitch clip and aluminum bushings there. Yeah, it's nice. Also, this Delrin rear bushing is super cool. It comes apart with a bunch of it actually free spins, but doesn't let the carrier move at all. We did have to grind this down. This comes apart with circlips. We got some royal purple to put in the transmission just because it's the only thing that's available locally. And let's see. Oh yeah, we have some Diddy oil around here somewhere so that we can smoke test the intake. Because among other things, I do have some cold starting issues. So just take off the intake hose, put a plastic bag in it, and put it back on. That keeps any smoke from coming this way, fouling out the MAF. Or this is a van airflow meter, so it doesn't really matter. But on a MAF car, you know, you want to do that. You know, keeps the pressure in, keeps it from escaping. And then we pull off this vacuum diaphragm hose. We're going to hook that up to the smoke machine. And then it just turns baby oil into smoke. And then we can hopefully find vacuum leaks. I imagine it's going to be something here. Probably. I do want to make all this stuff go away, though. This is absolutely horrific.
That bushing has seen...
That dampener has dampened its last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's seen better days. If I recall, these had a real problem with going splody.
We had to.
So
Interesting.
Had to utilize it.
Now we need the arbor press.
Hey! Well, good thing that I set it up for us. Because this is
The arbor
definitely...
press has been so useful.
This is I need one of these.
I was gonna say.
They're not bad.
I mean,
mine was.
it's about as simple as banging two rocks together. I can't imagine they cost that much.
Right.
Honestly, that transmission's in really, like, not super leaky, not covered in grime. Whatever car it's been in probably was lower miles. Because it doesn't. The car it was in didn't. The car that it was in didn't have enough miles to piss, remain seal all over the transmission. So it's probably a pretty solidly low mile trans. Hey. exhaust was in the way, so I solved that problem. Also, we actually hooked up the reverse wires that were not installed or hooked up previously. That's what that mystery wire was up there. So hopefully installation's the reverse removal and we're out of here in an hour or so. Or two.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I need to come back down.
Or
I need to remove this bolt.
Fun. Okay, guess I'll see how this feels. Oh. Okay. It's tighter. Oh, it's so much smoother. Oh my gosh. Big thing with this short shifter was that I can use a factory knob with it, but oh, that shifts so much. Oh, dang it. I guess I didn't get that locked in all the way, did I? Nope. Alright.
I've identified the issue. Ed, do that again. No, make the funny noise. Yeah. The shifter is hitting the drive shaft. Hey Ed, hold my hand.
Alright, so I just need to move this down, which will make the shift throw a little longer, but also it gives me an opportunity to tighten down these grub screws that I somehow forgot to tighten. I did Loctite them, but apparently I did not move them downwards.
Well, issue resolved, I think, by hitting the crap out of the shifter carrier bracket with a hammer and a pry bar. And then I also shortened the shifter as much as I could. Even with the shifter shortened, it was still hitting this. I think the problem is twofold. The old shifter carrier bushing was already bent, and then also, since the transmission wasn't bolted in all the way, that nut over there was loose. The trans was actually sitting lower than it is now, so hopefully that is problem solved.
Yeah, lift with your back. Oh, so strong. Honestly, they're really light transmissions for what they are, which is a transmission. Cool. And then I'll probably post this up for free in the local E30 group to someone who needs a transmission that works, but barely.
I need a transmission table.
That doesn't count. I'm trying to keep E30s on the road, Ed, not coffee tables in your house? Did you get a house?
Almost.
Almost a house, okay.
That'd be more of a nightstand kind of deal.
There we go. Oh,
Bounce on that thing.
oh man. That is what a BMW should feel like. Oh my gosh. It's not super notchy anymore. I can't wait to drive it, because the fast, like, it would take multiple seconds for the synchros to match up. So going first to second was like that every shift. It was infuriating. So hopefully that's a bit better now. And then I need to get shift knob, and I need to get a smoke tester so I can figure out why this thing cold starts so poorly. I did replace the coolant sensors. What else did I do recently on this? Oh, I replaced the blower motor. That sucked, but now I have all my speeds. I have a new radio to put in here. And put it here. I have no idea what this LED is. Nothing. It's literally nothing. We'll just leave you right there, buddy. That'll be our little secret.
Well, at this point, there is one thing left to do here. This Delrin knob that came with the shift kit is okay and all, but the real reason I got this short shift kit specifically is that it has an OEM BMW shift knob mount. My wrist is going to get tired here in a second, because there is only one shift knob that should go on a sporty BMW. Part number 25117896031. BMW weighted sport shift knob, also known as the ZHP shift knob, used on the E46 ZHP and every good sporty BMW since then, except I think for the E9X era, where they used that trash half plastic tall thing, which was also on the E39 M5 pre-facelifts. My M2 has it. This is, of course, the factory 5-speed version. This is not a knockoff, and oh yes. That is very good. Oh, I'm happy. Gosh, the ergonomics of this are just so nice, and it's nicely weighted. That is smooth, and a little stiff right now because it is 3 degrees out or thereabouts, and the trans fluid's a little cold. Elaborate on my cold start issues, I literally mean starting in the cold. It's a nice day out, and I think this thing will start up. Yeah, no problem. It's only when it's really cold out. And I did end up vacuum testing it and found nothing, so that's cool. Old EFI, sometimes it makes you wish you had carburetors. This car, oh man. Something that is unexpected was the amount of clunks and rattles that no longer exist in this car. I assume that that loose transmission crossmember that wasn't quite bolted in all the way was causing a lot of issues. A lot of bouncing around and rattling noises that are all gone now. I thought my rear suspension was just falling to pieces, even though everything's new in this suspension. Like there's nothing left to replace almost. I do need to reinforce the rear subframe and do some bushings back there, but nothing that would have been causing noises like I was hearing. But now those noises are all gone. The car feels so much tighter now. Not like brand new. I mean, obviously there's still some clunks, some rattles, but overall this car is rapidly getting really, really good, and I love it. I mean, I've got a heater now. I'm working on getting AC. I'm picking up some parts to reinstall AC in this car later this week. I've got a old compressor. I have a condenser. The evaporator core is still in the dash. I'm picking up a dryer and one of the lines that I need, but I still need to get all the rest of the lines because they were brutally removed. As far as the powertrain goes, especially with the transmission, especially with this shift knob, I get in my M2, I get in my E30, I get in my E92. It's all the same shift knob. All right, into a corner. Beep. It's so lightweight. Oh, camera's a little unhappy with me. It's such a good amount of power though, 170 horsepower. You know, a lot of people talk about slow car fast, but there is an asterisk there because there is a big difference between slow cars. There are some slow cars that are a lot of fun to drive fast. There's other slow cars where driving it fast feels like you are abusing it. Ford Festiva, weirdly, is an economy hatchback that is fun to drive fast, but like a base model Chevy Cruze, even with a manual, the engine doesn't want to rev out. It's not that fun. It feels like you're beating the crap out of it. You know, some Toyota Camrys are the same way, or Corollas that don't have the hot engine, the engine that everyone likes. The base model engines, they don't like to rev. They're big 4-cylinders. It's just not as entertaining. This is slow car, fun to beat on. And it doesn't feel all that slow. 170 horsepower in a package like this, I mean, it has roughly the same performance envelope as my 2.5 swap Miata, and even the Miata before the 2.5 swap is slow car, pretty fun to drive fast. This is just fantastic. Everything in the back seat is sliding all over the place, but you can just, everywhere you go in this, you can feel the full range of what it has to offer, because you're not blasting to 60 in 2 seconds, and you're not completely bored because it can just manhandle every single corner you throw at it. My camera cannot manhandle these corners either, apparently, but you can just, I mean, that was everything. It was oversteery, it was pulling through the corner, I could hear the straight 6 revving out, and I was doing 40 miles an hour. I was doing the speed limit. It has just enough torque and enough power that you can play with your right foot a little bit and have some fun with the rear end because it has a limited slip differential. You've got this fantastic feeling shifter. You've got this fantastic sounding revvy engine, goes to 6,500 RPM. This really is the full package. And I hear I can make it a lot better if I get a standalone ECU, kind of get rid of some of this weird Bosch Motronic stuff that I'm dealing with. The gearing is so good. I'm ringing it out to $6,000, and that was, I don't have to worry about the cops. I don't have to worry about anybody. It's fun. I do like cars that are very good at specific things. This car has me taking the long way home very frequently. Like, I will go 5 miles out of my way just so that I get a chance to just kind of play a little bit. I get to do just a little bit more. You know, just driving along here 35 miles an hour in a 40 and then just pop it down in the second, just And it's wild how good this sounds. My camera is so, it's having a great time over there. I'm having a great time over there. Ah, just, you know, a cart. Oh, on Insight with the temp tag. I should go say hi to that person. There's so many right answers to the question of enthusiast car. If you want something like this, you're going to end up with a 1 Series or maybe a 2 Series, but even the M2's not as raw as this. The M2's not as raw as my E46 was. My E46 was actually fairly close to this. Hopefully some of these thoughts make sense. Thanks for watching. I don't know, man. I feel different in this car.